Hello and welcome back to another episode of Young Leaders. I'm Gina Holton.
And I'm Jana Day. Today we're going to be talking about emotions versus business and how emotions play a key role in being a leader. We're going to be talking about the difference between hounding and helping, servant leadership, and the role that ego plays in leadership.
Everybody has a different job and everybody knows their job the best. When you're being a hound, you probably just don't really understand the other person's role and how to best help them.
I feel like if objectives aren't clearly defined for people, it makes it extremely difficult to get done what they need to get done as well.
Yes, that is so true. Let's talk about how helpful clearly defined objectives are. I think about that a lot because in college, we always had clearly defined objectives. We were given an assignment and that assignment was bullet pointed. And if we had any questions about what to do, we had one person to go to that would have the answers to us. But now we have a job and those roles are a little bit more loosely defined. We don't have anyone bullet pointing exactly what needs to be done. And we might not be so clear who the one person is to go to. I don't know how to incorporate this. On my drive home, I was thinking about emotions as in like before you leave for work, what's your home life emotion and do you bring that into work with you? When you leave work, you've had a stressful day, do you bring that back to the house?
In HR, like we've always been told, I've been in my career for 6 months and I don't even work in HR. At least what we learned at school is you kind of have to be a little bit more lenient with people that are dealing with things at home because of course that's going to impact their work life.
Also, let's think smaller scale. What if you get in an argument with your mom on your drive into work? It's just about learning how to put your emotions in a box for the moment and get back to work.
I struggle with compartmentalizing my emotions at work for sure. If I do something wrong, it really upsets me when I don't do it right the first time. And feedback is difficult for me. So I tend to be super emotional at work when things don't go my way.
Me too. But I think that the fact we're aware of it is a good place to start. And also we're young. So maybe that's just something that you get better at with age and experience. I work in sales, so I make everyone's favorite thing, cold calls. I would say 90% of the time people are polite, but sometimes you can get someone who's really just not in a great mood, and that can affect the sales rep's mood as well. It can make you feel emotional, can make you feel angry, and we just keep plugging through.
How do you deal with the rejection?
I feel like rejection, at least in sales, is just something that you don't even really need to worry about. And maybe in real life too. If they reject you, then it probably just wasn't meant to be. And there is more prospects, there is more fish in the sea, whether it's a business or personal life. There's something out there for you.
Earlier, we talked about how clearly defining roles is something that's super important for me at work. And I had this leader in my student government. His name was Elijah Smith. And I talk about him constantly because he was the ideal for a servant leader. I came into student government. I had no experience whatsoever. I didn't even know what really the point of student government was. He brought me in, took me under his wing, basically gave me the picture perfect outline of everything I needed to do to succeed. In my role, I had 9 direct reports and I had never been in any sort of leadership position at all before. The best piece of advice that I was ever given was have an orientation. My fall semester of student government, I never had more productive direct reports in my life. 100% would do it again.
Did we just solve the puzzle? Is clear communication the key to keeping emotions under control?
Everybody knew what my expectation was of them and everybody executed. Imagine that, communicating what you want from people and they will actually do it. And provide them support so that they can get what they need to get done.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching the episode. That's it. Great communication does prevent mishaps with emotion.
All around, everybody was collectively having success. Why would you not want that? What about AMA?
As a leader, I think I did lead with emotions sort of at the forefront of my mind. I always wanted decisions to be collective. Like I wanted all of us to agree that the common goal should be the common goal. And that way we can all work towards it together. I think in leadership, I was most interested in the clear communication and making sure that what we agreed upon would get done. Since we all respected each other and believed in each other, we were able to work together really well. And we all found our different strengths. I was on the more creative side. Ahmed was more on the technical sides. And Angie, who was our leader, was just running the ship and making sure that everything was coming together well. And it turned out working great. Clearly defining roles and clearly defining a goal and then just respecting each other, I think, is what drove us to a top 20 spot.
You talked about relationships and respecting each other. I think that that is key for any group dynamic. People that have bought into the same vision that you have, people who don't like their boss will leave and they will find somebody new. People don't leave their job, they leave their boss. Making sure that you have the collective buy-in from the group is so important for productivity. Imagine how fun a team can be when you love your coworkers. Pick a good team, recruit well. But next, we're going to talk about the role that ego plays in leadership. I'm not even embarrassed to admit it. Sawyer Nizar completely changed my trajectory as a young leader, and I needed that moment in my life at Heights Global Marketing to make me the person that I am. My own ego had me thinking that I was going to be the next director of operations. I had taken on a bunch of projects and I felt ready for it. I remember the day like it was yesterday. They announced who the next director of operations is, and it's not me. And it's somebody younger than me and somebody who's a little bit more shy. I just felt completely devastated, honestly, because HGM was my life in college, literally my life. We had like an HGM meeting and I got promoted and I finally got the opportunity to work on the operations team. But instead of having the role of being director of operations, I was working alongside Sawyer and I started to understand why she was picked for the role. Sawyer literally became my mentor. She was the voice when all of the students needed somebody to stick up for them. She was an incredible leader. The professional development that I saw in Sawyer in the last year and a half, oh my God, she's like a completely different person. Leaders aren't always who you expect them to be. Sometimes you just need somebody to take a chance on you.
I feel like rejection actually helps deplete the ego.
Yeah. I got rejected from that promotion and I was knocked down 4 pegs and suddenly I understood why I was never ready for the promotion in the first place. She's behind me, isn't she?
Hi, my name is Sawyer Nizar. I'm a senior at Lemoyne College. I am the Director of Operations at Heights Global Marketing, and I am also a marketing intern at Feldmeyer Equipment and Myers Creek Brewing. I'm studying marketing and management at Lemoyne, and I do have a minor in visual design as well. Honestly, it was super unexpected. I had originally been interested in the role, but I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to do that. There's no way I'm going to get chosen. I don't think that I'm strong enough in marketing or making decisions. I'm one of the most indecisive people I know. It's just something that I've like realized about myself is that personally I'm very indecisive. But when it comes to like making decisions for HGM and making decisions at my job, like it's a lot easier for me. So when I was promoted to Director of Operations, I was really surprised. I had gone to Erland to express my interest in the position before, but I honestly was ready to get turned down for it. Everybody there was older than me and had way more experience or had been there longer, and I just didn't see that as a possibility for me. Her and the previous Director of Operations, Sarah, both said that it would be such a good idea for me to get that experience, and they said they saw some potential in me and it was something that they wanted to work on. It was nice to get that news and think, wow, like I actually got a chance, and it felt really great.
Sawyer, you should give us some insight as to how you're able to do that.
I like to think of things in a more like analytical, logical kind of way. When I'm trying to decide between 2 outcomes, I always have to say, okay, slow down. What are we dealing with here? What are the potential outcomes of this? How could they harm or help anybody in this situation? And I just kind of like make a mental list of that in my head. Who's going to be the most affected by this? Whose opinions do we need to take into account? And then from there, I feel like it becomes easier to make that decision. A lot of people get kind of strung up in the emotions of it, like, oh, I want to do this, or this was my idea, and like I want to see it work, but not everyone's ideas are the best ideas. And I've learned that through my operations team, Jaina, Jake, and Dom. They were all super helpful in saying, you know what, Sawyer, that's not a great idea. Here are 3 new ones that we should come up with. And I was like, okay, you guys are right. Like, we need to think about the best outcome for everybody here and not just my idea because I want to prove a point.
So we were just talking about how when you respect your team, it makes a world of a difference and how much more productive you can be. And I think that's why we were so successful that previous year of HGM was because everybody was on the same team. We finally all got buy-in from each other, and that's how we were able to really grow the program as a whole.
We had a great team last year, and I respected the hell out of Jaina and all my other operations team members. I was always looking to them for advice and opinions, and whenever I needed help with something, they were always very quick to say, hey, like, let's figure this out. And that was always something I really admired about them. They were willing to drop anything they were doing to help me out. And I always looked forward to learning from them. They had so much experience and they were so much older and they seemed to know everything, honestly. I know it didn't feel like it, but it was for me. It was just so much easier to have like a board of people to ask instead of just me having to make decisions all the time. That was like kind of the first thing that was a switch up for me was delegation. I had to do a lot more delegating last semester because it was just us for a little bit. That was not something I had originally done before, and it was hard for me to do because I was always kind of like, I need to prove what I can do and I don't need help, and I'm a good leader. I can do this for everybody, and everybody can look up to me and kind of trust me with that. I can, but not well.
But it's also scary. It's so scary to give up work, especially when you don't know if the quality is going to be the same as if you were doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And I struggled with that a lot. I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just do it myself. Like, that's not the way to go. As soon as Jaina was kind of brought on, it was a lot better of a management time for me because I was working on school, I was working on HGM, I had my other internship with Feldmeyer Equipment and Myers Creek Brewing. And on top of that, there was just so much schoolwork. Junior year was a lot of work for me. So it was just so much to balance, and it was absolutely impossible. So I wouldn't have been able to do it without like figuring out how to delegate to people that I trust and that I know would do a good job. And then I lost all those people. So then coming to this year, I now had the delegation under control, but now I'm delegating to people, but they don't always want to do the work. So a big challenge for me was motivation and how can I motivate my students to do well and to want to do well. That was my biggest goal for the semester, really, was to try to get people more like into HGM and not just saying they're doing it for the resume. We did more team bonding activities. We tried to gel the group together as best as we could. That way people are more inclined to help each other out and ask for help when they need it instead of kind of just sitting there saying, I'm too scared. So I feel like that has helped a lot. We had our little pickleball tournament. We had our Christmas dinner. We have pizza at meetings and stuff like that. So it's more social, and that's how it becomes more fun to work together. And we also have some incentives in place. We have like Employee of the Month, and if you do something really good, going out of your way. I just actually said this on my last meeting with HGM like 10 minutes ago. Christina got Employee of the Month, so she's getting like a $10 Salt City gift card for coffee. I feel like it's definitely going up.
Thank you, Sawyer, for joining us on today's episode.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us again on this episode of Young Leaders, where we talked about business versus emotions. And thank you, Sawyer, for being here. We're so excited that we were able to share this with you. All right, ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's connect.